All right, y'all. We are back for a game two interview between the Vegas between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders. First off, I would like to apologize. My voice sounds a bit, bad because I am kind of feeling under the weather, and by under the weather, I mean I have kind of a cold going on right now. But you know what? I'm gonna keep going through, and we're gonna push through and make the videos that I need to make because the YT grind does not stop. So. This game was very entertaining, extremely. And the fact that the first period alone, this is stats from the Vegas game, took an entire page is unbelievable. And then the second and third took up a page as well. So 3 pages of notes. So let's get into this. The goalies were Vasilevsky and Varlamov. No surprise there. They would change accordingly a couple times. There was a lot of fighting to start off. And it really set the tone for the game because it was a 4-on-4 for Maroon and Martin as they got minors. I remember last year, I'm pretty sure, I know Patrick Maroon was one of them. Was it Matt Martin that was the other? They were going at it last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to rewatch the videos of me reviewing those conference finals games last year. But I remember those two guys were not liking each other last year either. So then the Islanders got a penalty. It was Ryan Pulock for high sticking. So it was 4-on-3 for Tampa for a little bit there, but it was killed off. There was a big Kucherov chance that was robbed by Varlamov, a huge one. It was a rebound. And it looks like if Kucherov shot that a little bit higher, that puck's going in, but it didn't. And I also thought I'd throw this in here too as a statistic. 41% of Tampa's goals were scored on the power play. So, for people who, care about that. And then there was a Sergachev chance that was turned aside by Varlamov as well, who played pretty well in this game. There was a penalty for Stamkos for slashing. That was killed off. But during that, Vasilevsky just robs Palmieri, and that really kind of just... It really just... they really couldn't get past Vasilevsky at all in this game. Braden Point would then collide into Varlamov as war would ensue, and then he ended up getting a penalty for interference on that, and Semyon Varlamov got taken out to look for concussion, and Sorokin was in. So, I want to discuss this because there's been a lot of, that was a bad call by the refs. I ain't going to deny that. Pulock got, or was it Pulock? It was Pulock that pushed Point into Varlamov. And I mean, hey, I hope Varlamov's okay. And I mean, he looked like it. He did come back later, but you still want to take a look at that because if you lose him, this team could be screwed. So I look at that and I say to myself, well, okay, so I look at that and then I look at the play that happened later. With the too many men. We'll get into that later, but, But I just don't think that should have been a penalty. There was a Palmieri slap shot that hit the post. Palmieri was buzzing in this game. Surprised he didn't get a goal at all. In fact, I think he leads the Islanders in playoff goals now. So, unbelievable for him. And then Brock Nelson got a goal. His 7th from no one because it was unassisted. And then people criticized them because... that was the penalty with the Braden Point incident, and it happens. I mean, the refs aren't going to make all the good calls in the entire universe, although you expect them to. They won't. I know that from experience. There was a big scruffle after a big Vasilevsky save. We saw that a lot. Martin versus Maroon and Colton versus Zizekas. Colton and Zizekas didn't get penalties. Martin and Maroon got 5 majors. And then there was Zizekas and Yanni Gourde. They were verbally arguing while the refs were trying to sort out the penalties, and that caused more delay of the game. So it honestly was it was so entertaining in the first period, or at least that aspect. That type of hockey is very entertaining, for me at least. It might not be entertaining for some of you, but it sure as hell is for me. So, and just like in the first period alone, it looked like Tampa really was keeping the Islanders out of Tampa's zone and in their own zone, because you notice like those Islanders players, some of those guys were on for like 2 minutes, a 2-minute shift at a time, and especially the defensemen too. They were on for 2 minutes at a time. It was just the way Tampa, woke up compared to how they played in Game 1 is just surreal. There was a Komarov penalty for interference. It was killed off. And then there was a Pajot backhand that was denied by Vasilevsky. It was shorthanded. There was more fighting between whistles. We saw that throughout the entire game. Wasn't just the first period. The entire game, there was so many just fights and all that. And then there was a Cirelli deke that was denied by Sorokin. And that's the end of the first period alone. So it took us about 6 minutes to review the first period. And the third period and the second have a lot of other ones too. Varlamov then returned for the second period. You love to see that. Glad he's okay. There's a Beauvillier shot that was stopped by Vasilevsky. Then Tampa got a penalty. Blake Coleman for slashing. And then there was a shorthanded gourd breakaway that was robbed by Varlamov. I got to give credit to both goalies. Both of them played extremely well in this game. So, I got to throw that out there. There was a point chance that was just smothered by Vasilevsky. And then Dobson also had a chance that was stopped. It's just like, it's insane how Vasilevsky plays. He plays amazing. And it's just really impressive with how he does it. And then here's the too many men thing. So Palat scores his third goal of the playoffs from Kucherov and Hedman. And it's 2-1 Tampa. And Trotz is angry at the ref for the too many men call before the goal. It didn't interfere with the goal, but the ref still should have called it because there was too many men on the ice. And, people argued it. And, we really can't do anything about it now. Then Vasilevsky just absolutely robbed Anthony Beauvillier, who's been looking great in these playoffs through the first 2 rounds. Just a shutdown player. And that was it for the second. The third period, there was an Alex Killorn shot that was stopped. And then Jan Rutta scored, the first defenseman for the Lightning to score a goal in the playoffs. Unbelievable. From Gaudreau and Coleman, as I said, first goal as a defenseman. And then here came the Islanders' penalties. Zajac got a penalty for interference. And then I also threw in here before the next penalty from Zajac. Casey Zizekas. I thought he was actually holding off Victor Hedman pretty well. I thought just, judging by the game, it just looked like he held Hedman off the board until later, of course. And then Zajac got a penalty for slashing because Zajac was just getting penalties left and right. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes in and fills in for Zajac because he just didn't have himself a good game. Then Hedman scores a power play goal. No one got the assist. So Hedman's first of the playoffs. So now the defensemen are finally getting on the board. There was a Cirelli backhand that was stopped. I'm surprised Anthony Cirelli really didn't get a goal either, to be honest with you. He was impressive. There was a Gordon Komarov fight, which caused 4-on-4 for a while. So, there was just a lot of penalties. Then Chernak got a penalty for slashing. That was killed off. Then Beauvillier got a penalty for roughing, which was also killed off. And then Matthew Barzal scores. His fifth of the playoffs from absolutely no one because no one got assists in this game apparently. And just like that, it's 4-2. And at the time, there was like 5 minutes left, and you wonder to yourself, hey, there's a definite possibility that the Islanders can come back. And there was a Hedman shot that hit the crossbar, which would have put the game away. But, it still looked like the Islanders were still technically in it. And they just kept trying to pull Varlamov, and they really just couldn't. And then they finally could with 2 minutes left, and it did literally nothing to change the end of the game. So final score was 4-2. There was a big fight at the buzzer, by the way. I heard there was penalties, but I didn't look at them yet. So, cry about it if you wanted them. You can look at them. They're on Twitter and stuff. The shots were 33-28 in favor of Tampa. Tampa was 1 for 5 on the power play. New York was 1 for 4. The hits were 37-32 in favor of the Islanders. And yeah, the Islanders' 4-game win streak in the playoffs is broken. So I look at that and I say to myself, okay, so Game 3 in Nassau Coliseum is going to be very, very entertaining. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching. I really do appreciate it. We'll be making more videos tomorrow, and we'll be doing the game reviews as they keep rolling along. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching and for your support, and I will see you guys in the next video.